Drive the Palm Beaches is powered by Discover the Palm Beaches. Log on to thepalmbeaches.tv to learn more.
I'm Jeff Fisher, and you're watching Drive the Palm Beaches.
We're here in West Palm Beach at the Ann Norton Sculpture Garden, and this is Sculptures in Motion. So I'm here with Jeff at the 3rd annual Sculptures in Motion at the Ann Norton Sculpture Gardens. Can you tell me a little bit about this event?
Sure. Well, we're out here trying to kind of expose the sculpture garden and its really beautiful sculptures done by Ann Norton after World War II, and beautiful gardens. Marry that with the rolling art that's here, the sculptural cars, and really have a great, unique venue to be able to show off the cars, show off the garden, and have some fun at the same time. The garden is pretty unique because it's 2.5 acres in this urban setting right here in West Palm Beach with all the development that's going on around it. This will never get touched, and it has, I think, the largest collection of rare cycad palms and other species that, that are pretty interesting to view. There's cars in the garden, there's a food truck in the garden, and there's opportunities for children here at this event. The garden does a lot educationally for kids in the community.
That's great.
And so there's a STEAM program going on here today in the garden, together with a couple cars that kids can actually jump in, take their pictures and all that kind of stuff, so it's fun. This field is divided into pre-war cars and post-war cars, primarily sports cars. So it's pretty significant to have the kind of car collectors you've got clustered right here in Palm Beach and Palm Beach County. So you're able to get really unique cars, really beautiful cars, as you can see here. But the uniqueness of the cars too is pretty special. A lot of these are one-off cars, the only one in the world. This is the only Alfa Romeo from, that was ever bodied by a coach builder called Fagoni in Italy. This is there's a Delahaye down here, the only one of its kind. So you've got a Bugatti. To see a Type 57 Bugatti, this is a very special Type 51 Grand Prix racing, the real deal Bugatti. So you've got some great pre-war cars. Post-war cars are incredible. The sports cars also are not only run-of-the-mill, but one-off cars. The Bill Frick Cadillac is a Vignali-bodied, coach-built Italian body on a Cadillac, believe it or not. So it's got a Cadillac engine and a Cadillac chassis. The Mercedes is a 300 SL Roadster. It was the first one ever brought into the country. Pretty special car, and has a lot of unique features because it was before the main production run of 300 SLs by Mercedes. So great stuff here. And for the kids, we brought a Myers-Manx dune buggy, which is the real original 1970 dune buggy. It's in the woods, and we'd welcome anybody to come and jump in it and have their picture taken or otherwise. So with the location here at the Ann Norton Sculpture Garden, as I said, sitting in the middle of West Palm Beach, you've got some pretty amazing list of collectors that only a place like Palm Beach County would attract. So that really helps us attract this caliber cars that really, usually don't come out other than in a private museum setting or at a concourse like the Pebble Beach Concourse in August. So you've got those kind of folks, and we're lucky enough to have them interested in the gardens, living here in Palm Beach, and participating as exhibitors in the event also. This is a 1930, really delivered in 1939, Delahaye. Delahaye was a mark, a French mark, and they had racing chassis and engines. This is a Type 135 MS, which is the competition coach, but was delivered by the owner who bought the car to be to be bodied custom by a shop called Fagoni and Falaschi, which is in the car world, a pretty famous French coach builder that existed back in the day, obviously doesn't exist anymore. And he, it was like getting a custom-made suit. He told him what he wanted. He wanted a 2-seat roadster. He wanted elegance, but he wanted to be able to go fast at the same time. And so they built this car for him, and he owned this car, for a number of years after that.
It's a beautiful car.
When you look at these cars and you look at the beauty of the coach work and the body, that obviously is what attracts you first. But even back in the day, most of these cars, particularly the Italian and French cars, there was always a view towards the aesthetics of what was under the hood. And so you could see with the 3 carburetors on this Delahaye motor, and the use of the chrome and the finishes that existed are all what they were back in the day, because when the car was restored, we made sure that everything, and whether it was brass or cat or other plated materials, you could see that the original manufacturer had an eye towards that too.
I'm Donald Osborne, and stay tuned for more Drive the Palm Beaches. Well, Kat, I am thrilled to be here for the 3rd Sculpture in Motion here at the Ann Norton Sculpture Garden. I've heard a lot about this event from the organizers. 2 very good friends of mine, Francis and Jeff Fisher, are very involved in this event. And they told me about it, and they wanted me to come down and be a part of this, and this is the first time I've had the opportunity to, and I am thrilled. What a setting, what cars, it's absolutely perfect.
So do you have a favorite car here today?
That's like saying, what's your favorite child, what's your favorite piece of music? It depends on the day and the moment. Right now, this moment is my favorite moment. I would drive away in any of these cars right now. They would be very welcome and at home in my garage. These are wonderful cars, and it's also, for me, cars are a total artistic experience, and I love art and I love cars, and cars as art is something that's very, very close to me. Design, history, the engineering, all of it comes together in a complete work, and to see it here in this setting is just absolutely amazing. It's the perfect South Florida day. I always remember how much I love it here, and I think, why don't I come more often? And I think I'm going to have to, because again, the combination of history and architecture, weather, the spirit of the place. It's very laid back and relaxed, and yet it has a great sense of style that obviously appeals to somebody like me. I love style, and Palm Beach is the kind of place that really sort of lives the kind of style that I love.
Can you tell me a little bit about your book?
Certainly. I mentioned before about style and what style means to me. My book is called Stile Transatlantico, Transatlantic Style, A Romance of Fins and Chrome. And it tells the story of the creative exchange between Italy and America in the post-war period. After World War II, America was really the shining beacon on the hill, the country that was the master of it all. We had helped the Allies win the war. Everyone in Europe really looked to America for its spirit and energy. And Americans looked to Italy for its historic style and classical elegance. And there was this wonderful interchange between Italy and America after World War II. If you watch any old movies from the late 40s and early 1950s, the big shots in Italian movies always drove American cars. They really loved the idea of this big, powerful car that could go anywhere effortlessly. And so you found a lot of American influences in Italian design. And we've got a couple of examples here today in this show, which are absolutely wonderful cars that show that sort of American enthusiasm with fins and chrome trim and dual colors. And later in the decade, you see that the classical influence in Italy, which, without exaggeration can be traced back to Michelangelo and Da Vinci, where you just take a form and you simplify it and just take the most elemental parts of it. And you see that coming in American cars. So there was this wonderful exchange that I think benefited both cultures and certainly car enthusiasts everywhere. People often ask me, well, how did you get involved in the classic car business? And I said, I think it's basically the product of a lost childhood. I was a voracious reader all the time, and so as a little kid growing up in New York City, where I didn't have cars, cars fascinated me. And I'm incredibly grateful and fortunate today to make my living as a professional appraiser, an ASA, a member of the American Society of Appraisers, and I've been working as an appraiser and consultant, writer, historian, and for the last few years, the last 5 seasons, I've been working with Jay Leno on our CNBC primetime show, Jay Leno's Garage, doing a segment called Assess and Caress with Donald Osborne, where Jay and I get to talk about cars, what makes them interesting, what makes them perhaps not so interesting, and how that relates to market value. Because in the end, it's all about your emotional connection with a car. And if you love a car, it doesn't matter what it's worth, because it gives you the kind of psychic and emotional satisfaction that you deserve. That's what we want to find from cars.